This is Marina. This week's question comes from Frederic, all the way from the UK. So the question I was asked this week is, why do we feel so bad when we are engaging with a narcissist? In particular, this was asked in the romantic context. So I'm going to refer to this as the bitter feeling we have when we are with a narcissist, and to why leaving them makes us feel better. I hope this helps you. First of all, let's look at the science of making relationships work. So the science of making relationships work involves us being with a person who is going to help us to grow emotionally. First of all, we require to feel safe and secure, because without safety and security, we can't go on to experience love. Now, when it comes to the narcissist's love, we're with a person who emotionally is not able to give us that maturity, the strength, the consistency in providing us with a baseline of emotional commitment. So although they may commit to us, and although at times we can feel care from them, it's short term. It's in the moment. And often as soon as they leave you, many of them go on to, have affairs, or they're out doing things that are not going to bring the relationship stability or success. We start to become anxious. Now, once we start to discover that they are not as committed as what we had assumed they were, once we start to realize that what we had signed up for and what they had told us was a con, it wasn't real. And so their mask starts to slip, and we start to see the real person. And of course, they start to smear us. There's a lot of things that are involved, and they love triangulating different partners. So all of this, of course, makes us very angry, and it starts to leave a very bitter taste in our mouth. Now, what it starts to occur then is that anger starts to set in. Then maybe we become desperate. We try to fix the situation. So all of these things are not conducive to the science of making relationships work. Anything that takes us away from our present time and brings us into a state of anxiety or anger needs to be dealt with as soon as possible, because we are not designed to live that way. Anxiety and anger are there to tell us that there is danger. And unfortunately, when we are in relationships with a narcissist, or even a toxic person, or even ourselves, we start to become toxic. It does not do us any good for our wellness, our emotional well-being. And it actually goes against the principles of making relationships work. So as we then continue down and we find ourselves in this rabbit hole, and it's quite dark, we are experiencing the lower vibrations. We are experiencing emotions associated with anger, with guilt, with shame. And we then either start to put up with what's occurring. We start to, as I've mentioned before in my previous videos, we experience betrayal blindness. So with this, we then start to oftentimes hate them. I can't tell you how many times I have been told by targets, victims, I hate them. I've never hated anyone before in my life, and yet I hate them. And so this really now needs to be a warning sign to you that this is not good for your emotional well-being, your mental health. We are living in hate, living in anger, living in despair. They are low vibrational emotions, and they cause us so much damage, because usually what we then develop is resentment. And resentment is this steely, smouldering little fire that's going on in the background, a bit like a computer virus. It's doing a lot of damage to the computer, but we don't quite know it's there. With resentment, we feel entitled to have resentment towards them because of what they've done to us. So all of this, of course, is making us very, very bitter, because we feel powerless. We feel that someone else has control over us. And this is not going to lead to us living our best life. So what I do want to then focus on is if you are finding yourself in a bitter state of being, if you are finding that you have lost energy, if you are finding that this relationship is causing you more worry than bringing you love, then you do need to start to look at your intentions for your life. Because unfortunately, if you continue to feel bitter, you will not ever feel better. There are things that you can start to do to start to put yourself first. When we are in these relationships with narcissistic, abusive people or toxic, situations that we may find ourselves in, we are not thinking rationally. We actually go into a completely different place that is not going to bring us fulfillment, and it is not going to make us live our best life. If I can help you in any way, please reach out, because we start to really look at the whole cognitive dissonance. We start to look at healing from that, and also to uncord and to find root causes of this betrayal attachment. All right, well, that's all for now. And if I can help you in any way, please reach out. Bye.